Hey guys and girls, welcome back to YYC Designz Custom RC Creations. Today we're working on making some rod ends, well not rod ends but links for 4-link suspensions and all of that. I do buy the rod ends, but I tend to try to make my own links, which is what you see in front of you here. Now this happens to be a 5mm solid aluminum rod. And as you see, these are the cheesy plastic links that you get when you have a Wraith. Now, as you know, that's Voodoo upside down. So I'm trying to decide now how to do the links. And I've been in a bit of a quandary over this, whether to use this flat aluminum stock. I only have 4 pieces of it, unfortunately. I measured it out and all of that, and I'm thinking about putting the 25-degree bend in it and doing some fancy stuff, but I can't decide if these 4 flat pieces would work well with the rod or whether I should just use the 5mm rod to make all of them. And how to do the setup here on the bottom of Voodoo, I'm in a bit of a quandary for the last little while, and so I am very late getting a video out again because I am in a design block at the moment and I'm trying to figure it all out, because we want to attach, of course, the front and rear diff to Voodoo here. Now these are out of a stock Wraith. They are the I guess they're nylon or whatever that material is. Anyway, they're the stock diffs, and I use them for setup mostly. Only at the moment I don't have the steel set out here, or the aluminum set actually out here. So I use these for setup and that sort of thing, because if they get damaged or whatever, it's not such a big loss. They're not hard to replace because they are obviously rather inexpensive as compared to the aluminum diffs. But they do work really well for setup purposes. And so what I am really in a quandary about is, here is where I'm going to be attaching the front 4-link setup, or 3-link and a panhard. I haven't decided yet. That's another quandary I'm in. On the back, it will of course be right here, attaching the 4-link to the rear diff. I have no problem as to how I'm going to mount them. I'll just make tabs and go ahead and mount them on. My quandary has been, like I said, whether to make round links or the other aluminum. This is a 1/2 inch 1/8 thick flat stock aluminum. It is extremely hard to drill this stuff, because if you get the drill running too fast, it just simply melts and hollows out and destroys your drill bits. This rod, on the other hand, is very nice to thread and easy to attach the rod ends to. The flat bar, I would just press fit the little ends here, the little wobbly ends, into the flat stock and make it work that way. I'm just in a real big quandary here. I've been mulling this over literally for like 3 days. I just can't figure out which way I want to go. So that's been the problem. But I promise you here, we're going to get on to something pretty quick. These are the shocks I am going to put on Voodoo. They are the remote reservoir internal spring shocks from Hot Racing RC, obviously. They are 100mm, and yeah, they are real reservoir shocks. I think they're going to look just awesome on Voodoo, so that's what's going to go on each of the 4 corners. I might actually also run a second shock in each corner so that she is double shocked on every corner, just to handle her weight, because she's obviously a little bit heavier than your average RC, being a replica. and made out of steel, so might need a little extra suspension or run them just very, very stiff. We'll see what happens here in the future. As well, I've got a battery box. It's a plastic one. Again, that nasty 6-letter, 7-letter word, plastic. I hate it. So I am going to replicate this piece in steel or aluminum. Haven't decided yet, but I don't like the idea of plastic. However, I'm going to put a lining in the steel one just so that it doesn't have adverse effects on the battery. Anyway, I will get moving on with something here, and we will get going with this video.
Nightmares creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire.
Alright, so it was a little boring to watch, so I didn't bother filming it, but I decided, what the hell, I'm going to make 2 flat and 2 round for each end, so front and rear. The rear have had to be 8 inches long because of the dimensions of Voodoo being a 1/8 scale, and the rear, of course, I made 6 inches long, which is an inch over the stock link set. So this is why I've had to make my own links anyway in the first place, rather than looking at buying them, because I am well aware you can buy steel link sets for about, I think they're right around 50 bucks Canadian for a full set, a full 10 link set. That includes your steer, your front differential steering link and all that, which I can make here in the shop anyway. So since I have to make custom pieces that are extended length, 8 inch and 6 inch, there's no sense in trying to buy them now, is there? So I will buy the rod ends, and all I have left to do on these flat pieces now is I do want to make them a bit fancier, so I have to decide on a design, and I will drill out some holes and kind of fancy them up. And then of course they have to be sanded quite briskly and be polished up to be a nice shiny mirror finish. I have to of course also thread the rod ends to accept the ends here, so we'll be putting a thread on each end of each link, which will just, it's easy to do, it just takes time. It's boring to film. Boring to film me bending all these pieces as well, so I didn't show you that part. But so there we are. There's the link set almost made. I will finish them up and show you the finished the final product. Alrighty, so this cute little pile here is going to become my link mounts for the 4-link suspension. I got they're just 1/2 inch square tube with a 1/8 wall, and I've cut them down into 1/2 inch cubes. Now I got to give them some shape on the grinder. I'll get that done and show you what I'm up to as far as that goes. And then I can just turn around, place them wherever I need them on the frame, and weld them. As you notice, I drilled them before I cut them out. It's just much easier to hold them. And I've put a small enough hole in them, I can either tap the hole out where I need it, or I can drill it bigger to run a small bolt through. So, alrighty, let's get some shape to these little gaffers and we'll get moving on a little bit. And I think that's about as far as we're going to get for Voodoo here today. So what I've done here is taken them and I have cut one side of them out, and that will be so that the link can fit inside them so when it's ready to go on. Yeah, the bottom part here will of course weld onto the frame. I'll see if I can get over here and show you. So the bottom will weld onto the frame. So I'm sorry I'm a little out of focus. They're such tiny pieces and my phone is having a bitch of a time focusing on it here. But that's basically what'll happen. And then of course I'm not using the proper link here. Oh, maybe I am using the proper link here. Okay, so the links will go in so, yeah, and that's why you got to cut the one side out of them. Now the reason why I'm not getting much on this video is specifically just because they are such a tiny piece, and being a tiny piece, they take quite a bit of labor to get them done. They take about 20 minutes a piece, but when you got 8 of them to do, that's a couple hours. Yeah, so here is the link mounts, and I've just got to get them all finished. I've only got a few of them done right now. And like I say, I started them out with the 1/2-inch square tubing, drilled some holes in it, and of course just cut my piece down from there and made the mount, cut the side out of it as you can see there, and rounded them over just so that they don't ever catch on anything and they look a little more factory as far as factory vehicles go. So that's going to be about it this time on Voodoo. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I apologize that it's not very, I guess I'll say it's just not been very involved because we've only got a few little things done. But we are down to the little things on Voodoo, and these little things take time to fabricate. So I shall carry on here and get the rest done and prepare for the next video. In the meantime, please like and subscribe if you haven't. Share it with your friends. And thank you for joining us on our journey here at YYC Designs, Custom RC Creations. Y'all have a great work week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah.